Hey guys, welcome to Unit 4, Lesson 2A, which is called Synthetic Substitution. So this is a new method for evaluating polynomials. Rather than plugging in a specific number in for x every time and then typing that into your calculator, I'm going to show you a different way that we can do it. So the first step here is we always want our polynomial in standard form, which is what we'll almost always do. And then it has steps here. So place the x value on the outside. Then we're going to list all of the coefficients, which are the numbers in front of our variables, in descending order. So the highest degree to lowest degree, just like normal. And then we're going to solve, and we have all these different steps here on step 3. It's easier if I just kind of walk you through what we do there. So like step 1 said, place the x value on the outside. So that's whatever we're plugging in for x. So I like to make this little half box, put it separate. Oop. Sorry about that. Let's go back up here. We make our half box. Put 4 there. Now it says list the coefficients in descending order. So descending, remember, goes from highest to lowest, which we already have it here. So the coefficients are going to be 5. And then we have, there's not a number in front of x squared, so we assume that it's a 1. Then we have negative 4. We want to include that negative sign. And then lastly, we have positive 1. So now I'm going to draw a line underneath these. And what we do every single time to start is you bring the first coefficient straight down. So 5 goes down. Everything that's beneath this line that we drew, we multiply it with 4. So it's going to be 4 times 5, which is 20. And then we write it on the right side of that. Everything up above here, these two numbers, we're going to add them. So 20 plus 1 is 21. Now that we're down below the line again, we got to multiply it with 4. So 4 times 21 is 84. Now that we're above the line, we add those. Negative 4 and 84 gives us 80. It's down below, so we multiply. 4 times 8 is 32. So 4 times 80 is 320. Then you just add those numbers together. We get 321. This is our final answer right here. That's what we would get if we plugged in 4. Just to show you, we would get 4, if we were to do this the old way. You can go ahead and type this in your calculator if you want to check to be sure, or you can trust my math on this one. So 4 to the third power is 64. 4 squared is 16. Minus 4 times 4 is minus 16. Plus 1. 5 times 64 is 320. These two are going to go away since one's positive, one's negative, and then we just get plus 1. So we do end up getting 321, the same exact answer, which is what we expected if we did it correctly. So let's do a couple more practice ones, and then I'm going to let you do one on your own. So here's example 2. Remember, we want them in descending order, but the problem is we're starting with x to the 6th. So there's actually a lot of terms in between that we need to list. Even though we don't have an x to the 5th or an x to the 4th, we still have to list a coefficient for those numbers. So what we want to think of this as, if I were to rewrite it, we still start with x to the 6th, but everything that goes down, so 6, 5, 4, 3, everything in between, we're going to just put a 0 if we don't see it. So x to the 0x to the 5th, 0x to the 4th, 0x to the 3rd, 0x squared. But now we get to this, just the single x term, which is 3x, so we are going to include that with the 3. And then lastly, we have the plus 4. Now that's the descending order, because when we write the coefficients next to the 2, we have to have all of them. So we start out with 1, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have 3 and 4 are the last two numbers. But if we want to do this correctly, you have to include the zeros as well. So again, bring down the first number, you get 1, and then we multiply everything that's beneath the line with our number that we're evaluating. So 2 times 1 is 2. Then we add these numbers, we get 2. 2 times 2 is 4. We add these numbers. 2 times 4 is 8. We add those. We get 16, or excuse me, we get 8. Because 0 plus 8 is 8. And then we multiply 2 times 8 to get 16. Add those, we get 16. 2 times 16 is 32. Add those, we get 35. And then 2 times 35 is 70. We add the last two pieces to get 74. All right, so let's keep going here. Number 3. So I'm going to do the first one with you. I'm going to help you set up what our function should look like, and then I will do the -1 part. So f of x equals 3x to the 5th minus x to the 4th minus 5x plus 10. We are missing some pieces in there. So start with the highest degree, which is 3x to the 5th. We do have x to the 4th. We don't have an x cubed. So we're going to put plus 0x cubed. We don't have an x squared, so we do 0x squared. And then we do have minus 5x and 10. So now for f of -1, that's where we're just plugging in -1. So line these up, 3, -1, 0, 0, -5, and 10 is the last one. Okay, so we bring down our first number, we get 3, and we multiply everything below the line with our number outside. So -1 times 3 is -3, -1 and -3, be careful here, those add to make -4. The other tricky part about a negative is, remember, when you multiply two negatives, we actually get a positive. So -1 times -4 is +4. 0 plus 4 is 4. Multiply with the -1, we go back to -4. Add these, we get -4. Multiply -1 and -4, we get +4. So it alternates back and forth. We do have to be careful. Add these, we get -1. -1 times -1 gives us +1. 10 plus 1 gives us 11. And this is our final answer. Okay, so go ahead and try f of 2 for yourself. You're going to use the same coefficients that I used for the first one. You're just putting 2 instead of -1.